How's it going out there, Bulk and Spur? Welcome into another episode of Always Pneumatic, Never Static. I am your host, Marcus. Thank you so much for being here today. We greatly appreciate every single one of you guys clicking download every single week. And go ahead and tell a friend about it, too. Our listens are looking good, but they could be looking better. I know there are some drivers out there that haven't listened yet. In fact, I got a little survey that we did of some of the bulk drivers here just recently, and there were a couple of people that answered that they had either not listened to the podcast yet or that they didn't know that we had a podcast. We totally do. That's what you're listening to right now. So if you get to take advantage of this every day and you get there every week and you enjoy the hour of content that we put out every single week, tell one of your friends that's a driver for Bulk and Spur. Let them know, hey, have you listened to the podcast yet? If they say, I didn't even know we had one, show them how to access it. If they say, I knew about the podcast, but I just haven't listened yet, shove them in the right direction for us, because as you'll hear later on in this episode, we want everybody listening to this, and that's not just me. That's some of the people responsible for making some of the biggest decisions that get made around these parts. So, podcast.bulktransit.com is where you want to send them. That's where you can find all of our episodes, all the information. There's quizzes that we put up there after every show so you can test your memory a little bit. Hey, I don't know if any of you are like me. I'm 41. The memory is starting to fade. These little quizzes help me out remembering exactly what it was that we talked about, because let me tell you, sometimes it all starts to blend together. I don't know if I talked about scrambled eggs on the podcast or if that's what I had for breakfast. It just happens that way. That's, I think, one of the crosses I bear as one of the people that chose the run your mouth as like their lead skill. It's really hard to remember everything that comes out of my pie hole. So forgive me for that, but tell a friend, because we're having fun in here. And today we're having even more fun. We are celebrating Bulk and Spur's 54th anniversary as a company. 54 years. Hang half a decade on them. What an amazing run, and we're not done yet, okay? Everything is moving up and to the right. We're cooking with gas, as they say. I've said it before, we're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, and we wanted to take the time to celebrate the company's anniversary here today on the podcast, and we've got a bunch of people joining us here in just a little bit to kind of help us do that. We're going to have Shawn Stevens and Tim Hamilton on. That's your Director of Ops, Director of Safety. We're going to talk to them sort of about the state of the company as they see it. What's going well? Is there room for improvement anywhere? How are you feeling about it? There's a lot of feelings in today's episode, and I'm okay with that because having something last like this company as well as it has for 54 years, that'll make you well up with some feelings, and I'm okay with that. We're going to talk about them today, and then after Tim and Shawn join us, we are going to welcome Brian, Brad, and Andrea to the show and talk to them, the ownership trio, about some of how they feel about it, a little bit of State of the Union stuff, but I'm also going to dig a little bit deeper or zoom out a little, if you will. We'll talk about some of their earliest memories. We'll talk about some things that have changed over the years and just get their thoughts on this awesome 54th anniversary for Bulk and Spur. What a fantastic company. I'll tell you this, a little peek behind the curtain here. I work with more than just this one trucking fleet. I make podcasts for a few different trucking fleets, and I see something very special behind the scenes at Bulk. I see drivers that are just endlessly happy with the gig that they have. They like the work, they like the miles, they like where they drive, they're happy. You guys hear them on this show all the time. And then outside of that, we've got the terminal staff that is very dedicated to making sure that these drivers and the shop employees, everybody that's involved, has a good job, knows what their responsibilities are, likes coming to work, and does a good job. And it takes a village. I'll tell you right now, the dedication that you see, that you will hear from the 5 people that are joining us today, is just the very tip end of the iceberg. That sentiment runs through the entire company. And never is it more evident than a day like today when we get kind of the top level of management in here and talk to them about what they see in this company. So super cool episode. I'm super excited once again to everybody wearing Bulk or Spur on their t-shirt or on their truck or on their hard hat or on their gloves today. Happy anniversary. 54 years. That's a heck of a run. And I don't want to stand in the way anymore because everything that needs to be said today is going to be said in these following 2 segments. So strap in. Let's celebrate the company anniversary by first getting Shawn and Tim in here to give us a little bit of the State of the Union.
You are listening to Always Pneumatic, Never Static, the totally pressurized podcast brought to you by Bulk Transit, where we keep the lines clear, the tanks empty, and the conversation anything but dry. Whether you're running powder, pellets, or anything in between, pull up a seat, crack the windows, and let's hit it.
Welcome back into our anniversary special here on Always Pneumatic, Never Static. Very excited for our next segment here as we welcome in Director of Operations Shawn Stevens to the show. Shawn, thanks for joining us today, man. Really excited to talk a little anniversary with you today.
Appreciate it, Marcus. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Also joining us today, we've got the Director of Safety on the show, Tim Hamilton. Tim, welcome back as well, man. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Of course, gentlemen. Now, as we talk about the anniversary, first off, I feel like jumping in, let's just do this in kind of a fun way. Shawn, if you could describe this past year in one word for me, what word would you use?
Dynamic.
And why is that?
Because we've seen a lot of we've seen a lot of positive changes, a lot of positive direction, I think.
I like it. Short and simple and to the point. Tim, how about you? One word to describe this last year.
Well, positive.
That's great. Why positive? I mean, that's kind of a, that word kind of comes loaded, but I'll ask you why anyway.
Yeah, it seems morale has been up more this year than last year. So I see positivity on the rise over last year.
That's great. I think that if you were to, if I were to take us back to last year at this point and ask you the same question, or ask you, hey, if a year from now you were saying that positive and dynamic are the 2 words that you guys will use, we'd probably be pretty excited about it. What do you think, Tim? I'll stick right here with you. As you look back over the last year, what's one of the first things that comes to mind that really makes you smile? And this can be company-wide, this could be departmental, or this could even be personal. It doesn't really matter to me. I just I want to know something, one of those positive things over that past year that's happened that you can kind of point out for us.
I think one thing that stands out is I think our mileage as a fleet has gone up, and with that, we've had a decline in accident frequencies.
Oh, that's great.
So I think it accounts to how our training's been going, recruiting the right drivers, training the right drivers, all that good stuff. It's definitely seen positive change over the last year, and I expect next year to be even better.
That's great. Got some positive momentum. I love to hear that on our company anniversary special. Shawn, same thing to you. As you look back over last year, something that makes you smile, either departmental, company-wide, or personal.
I mean, just looking at it, I've always considered operations to be really nothing more than managed chaos. And it seems like the either the chaos has quieted down or the management of it has improved. But I don't know. Things they seem to be smoother. They seem to be clicking along a little bit better. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it does, 100%. And as somebody who, and I've called this out before, but you knew I was going to bring it up, as somebody that's been a part of one of the meetings that you run as one of the most organized meetings I've ever been a part of, the terminal manager meeting that you hold each week. It really does take a village to make that happen, doesn't it? Organized chaos happens in every single terminal that we've got. But getting that management to smooth out and getting the chaos to kind of settle down takes everybody, doesn't it?
Well, and it's not, that's one thing that I'm just so very happy and very proud of my team for is it's not being done in isolation. It's not 10 individual camps. It's, to your point, everybody just coming together and working to manage it not individually, but together. I think that is what quiets it more than anything else. I do.
So as having 10 shops out there, having 10 terminals out there is a lot, right? It's a big lift. I wonder if there's any one of those terminals that deserves some flowers. Maybe they all do, Shawn, but are any of the terminals standing out to you as you look back over the past year and kind of the growth that they've had, the success that they've had?
You should know better than that, Marcus. I wouldn't be about to call out any one individual terminal, but I will tell you that, there are certainly some standouts, but across the board as a whole, I mean, all of them have really just, to me, they've really stepped up. They've really blossomed. They've really done a great job as far as just reaching out to everybody else. I will call out, one. I'm not really going to call them an anomaly by any means, but our Spur outfit down in Texas, they do such a great job, just those two terminals, because they're so far removed. They don't have the benefit of the network that we have up there. So they really do a good job leaning amongst themselves, just the two of them. Let's face it, Texas is not right around the corner.
No, it's not. In fact, Texas is right around the corner from Texas, and that's the only thing that's right around the corner from Texas, Shawn.
Yes, the Republic of Texas.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. I do know better, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try to get you to call somebody out.
I would be disappointed if you didn't try.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you scolded me a bit there because, hey, you're right. I understand. We've had these conversations before, and it's the reason I say it takes a village is because you really do see it. Having so many terminals so far removed from one another, especially those Texas ones, it makes that meeting that I talk about, that weekly terminal manager meeting that you guys have, so important. And it's something that I always see in that meeting, I've been in it a couple times now, is that everybody's happy to be there. This isn't like, I'll be honest with you guys, I've got my Monday all-team meeting coming up shortly after this recording, and I'm kind of, I don't know, man. It's going to be a lot for Monday at noon. But I didn't get that impression from anybody in that meeting, Shawn, and that means that everybody's excited to come to work and be successful and work for Bulk and Spur. So, love it. I love it there. Tim, from a safety standpoint, you already talked about the accident numbers going down. But I kind of wonder, is there anything else over the past year? Are we doing better with speeding? Is there something specific that we're doing that really had you proud? Or is there a driver, maybe a group of drivers or anybody in specific that you really want to shout out here on the company anniversary special for a job well done? That could even be somebody within your department there in the terminal, drivers. It's wide open for you here.
Yeah, well, a shout out to, 194 to 198 drivers, not just one in specific. I mean, they all do a great job. That's why we see what we see. So, to again, like, Shawn's point, to put one out there above everybody else isn't right, because they all do a fantastic job.
Well said. I agree. And, man, they're a happy bunch of guys, too, and gals. We get them on this show, and they have so much fun in here. And it really, again, you can tell that they love their job. They love the company they work for. And with respect to that, Shawn, I wonder, is there anything that the average driver might have never realized happened behind the scenes this year? Any changes that are, maybe something that might affect the drivers, but it's not big company news or anything like that? Maybe this is also a time that we shout out some of the terminal staff. We don't have to do individuals. I understand the sentiment here, guys, but maybe there's a department or something that stands out, something the drivers might not know about, Shawn, that you can really, I guess, hang your hat on this year.
Well, I'll give you one. It's nothing I'll hang my hat on, but it's something that I'm very happy for this individual. Our Dundee terminal manager, James Thompson, is retiring. He is getting ready to go and spend the rest of his hopefully long days fishing with his kids and his grandkids. So that's coming down the pike here. Actually, within the next few weeks, we've already got our new manager on board. He's working with James, and That's one thing that I love to see is we've got so much longevity at so many of these different terminals. To see somebody that can, step away, hang it up, and cruise into retirement like that, it's really a pleasure to watch that.
Man, how great. Congratulations to James there, and a big round of applause for finishing out what I'm sure was a stellar professional career. Always love to see guys walk into the sunset like that, especially when their plans are so well cemented. You mentioned fishing with the grandkids. He's probably been talking about that for the last year, hasn't he, Shawn?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. We had just had a conversation. I swear it wasn't 2 weeks before he dropped his news, and he had gone on vacation for a week, and he comes back and he's like, Shawn, I spent the whole week up north fishing with my kids and my grandkids, and I liked it.
Yeah, nothing that makes you consider that retirement like a week-long vacation, doing what you would do all day, every day once you retired. I know that, and man, that's so cool. I really hope that he has a great time, and like you said, lots of long years left to enjoy that time with the kids and the grandkids. Shout out to James. Congratulations on the retirement. Tim, how about you? Anything like that you got going on in your department or with the people that you work with? Anybody retiring or got a big life event coming up that's making the rounds at the company water cooler right now?
Not that I've heard of. Like I said, congratulations to James on retiring, and but other than that, no, really haven't heard of any other news going on.
Okay. Just wanted to check there. I got some really cool driver-centric questions that I want to fire at you guys now, and we'll go back and forth between you here for this. Tim, I'll stick right with you. If the drivers listening only knew one thing about how the office viewed the past year, what would you want them to know, Tim?
Just how proud we are, again, of what they do. It's not a lifestyle that a lot of people choose to do or even want to do. Trucking's not easy, with the climate out there, traffic and regulations, and it's a tough game. I mean, it's evolved more complicated than it was 20 years ago. I know you've talked to a lot of the old school drivers, and they said the same thing.
Yep.
How it's evolved. So, give credit to these guys, what they do, and maintain driving safely, looking out for the general public, staying out of any little minor issues with equipment, and just real proud of what they do.
And always wearing that PPE, right?
Oh, gloves. AJ will tell you, gloves.
Yep, absolutely. Shawn, on to you. If the drivers listening only knew one thing about how the office viewed them this year, what would you want them to know?
I mean, to Tim's point, obviously, very proud of all of them, but I think to go a different direction, similar though, I would want them to know how truly important what they do is for this company. We don't exist without them. Our customers don't get service without them. They're literally the backbone of this company.
Love it. Love it. Great stuff. What's something that surprised you this year, Shawn?
What's really surprised me, and it's kind of strange. I did not anticipate driver hiring shortages this year. The industry struggled coming out of last year. There were unfortunately a lot of small companies closed.
Yep.
And my thoughts are, that is going to be available drivers. Because I knew, and this did pan out. We've had a lot of great business opportunities that we've been able to take advantage of. Mm-hmm. Very happy about that. I think that's definitely a nice shot in the arm for the company. But I figured we were going to be in a rare position of having business availability and drivers. And the driver portion of it didn't quite pan out.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And we had Rachel on not very long ago. I feel like it's maybe been a month, maybe 5 weeks ago here on the pod to talk about recruiting. And she brought up, hey, as the freight market turns and things start to get a little bit more positive when we look at rates and freight moving, things get really competitive out there. And that was one thing that she called out, is that the recruiting right now is incredibly competitive, not only because drivers are being very judicious about looking for good jobs, but companies are really turning their focus onto retention, Shawn, and keeping those good drivers that they have there. And Bulk does the same thing, right?
No, we have to. I mean, anytime you lose a tenured driver, you're losing not just a body and a seat by any means. I mean, you're losing a tremendous amount of experience.
Yeah. And that customer service knowledge that they gain over working with the same customers.
You can't put a value on that.
Yep. 100%. Well, it's rough out there, but at least we can say that the market is turning, right, for the positive, and that's probably
it
something
absolutely is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And please, hats off to Rachel. Just in the past couple of months, I mean, she's bolstered our driver numbers going into the busy season. How she did it, I don't know, but she did a wonderful job of it. She did.
I think she did it just by being her, Shawn.
I wouldn't disagree with you.
What a phenomenal employee you guys got there, and that's you know what, love a good shout out for somebody on this show. And Rachel has not only done great things for the company, she's done stellar things for this podcast. She's given us so much time. She's always got great recommendations, just like all you guys do. Tim, Shawn, you guys are a part of that as well. This podcast, much like having the success that Bulk has, it takes a little bit of a village to make it, and we got a great group of people that are always giving us time, just like you guys are today. So shout out Rachel for 100 different reasons. Tim, well, real quick, Shawn, I want to make sure I let you say everything you wanted to say there about something that surprised you this year. Anything else?
I got to say, it really did surprise me as far as how well we were able to take advantage of so many of the business opportunities, even with the capacity crunch. That goes back to the terminals working together to prioritize just making it happen, working with each other throughout all of it. So we were just able to take advantage of so many opportunities that otherwise could have been a struggle if we had not, as a group, been willing to look outside the box.
And do you think the same type of movement to the positive direction, up and to the right, as they say in a corporate boardroom, is possible next year as well? You think this is just we're cooking with gas, we're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels type thing? Let's keep this momentum moving forward.
Look, I am not about to say that it is not possible on to next year and beyond. I'm just that kind of an optimist. Is this industry cyclical? Yes, unfortunately, but I'm bound and determined that we've got the team in place to continue that up and right.
That's years of experience you hear talking there. Yes, we're optimistic, but yes, we understand this industry as well. So well said there, Shawn. Tim, let's go over to you. Something that surprised you this year.
One thing that surprised me was, Shawn was talking about the lack of availability with drivers. But we did find a lot of success with hiring entry-level drivers. Now, this industry, the problem with entry-level drivers, especially with us being a specialized carrier, the type of work we do, it's you get a lot of entry-level drivers. They wanted their first job. They want to just bump docks.
Right.
Our work, there's a little bit of physicality to it. Give one shout out to the Fairborn Terminal, Rob. He's been on your show, I know. Yep. He's acquired a lot of entry-level drivers this year, and he's done a really, really great job with getting them trained. Shout out to the trainers there at Fairborn Terminal. And retention is super with the entry-level drivers that we've had this year. So large part of it goes, I believe, to the trainers. They're obviously, after 6 weeks of training, they're instilling enough confidence in the new driver to do the job. It's been really surprising, and also, we were talking about the amount of female drivers that have entered our company.
Yep.
And we always encourage it. But again, female drivers, nationally is, 9% of all the truck driver jobs out there. Since I've been here, we might have had one or two, maybe three at one time, and then we drop off to one. Currently, right now, we have 10.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And actually, you mentioned just in that short little bit where you were talking there, 2 different episodes that we've got coming up on the board. We're trying to put together an episode to meet some of these ladies that we haven't already met on this podcast and get a chance to talk with them about doing the job and their experience at Bulk. And outside of that, you mentioned another episode that we're working on here, Tim, which is why entry-level drivers should consider pneumatics. And you just put that bug in my ear. I got to get a hold of Rob and talk to him a little bit so he can get us some of those guys on the show. But you're right. It's not something, I don't think pneumatics is something that a lot of first-time drivers look for right out of CDL school. But there's definitely the opportunity for success coming into pneumatics right off the bat, isn't there, Tim?
Well, there is. I mean, the one thing with pneumatics is our length of runs aren't as long as a van driver. Whether a person that's in a truck driving school doesn't realize that, vans, you could run 500-600 miles a day. We may run 500 or 600 miles a day, but they're shorter runs. You may do two loads that total 500 miles for the day. So it's a little bit, to me, it's easier if I was an entry level driver to learn this trade in the pneumatics.
Yeah, the tech and everything might make it a little bit easier too. The trucks are just they're more user friendly these days, aren't they, Tim?
Oh, definitely. And if I had a crystal ball looking into the future, things are going to get a lot simpler for drivers with the technology that's coming out.
Yeah. And of course, there might be some speed bumps along the way. There might be some growing pains. It seems like adopting new technology is always a little bit of a gamble. But if you can get drivers bought in and really show them the actual reasons, I've been doing this job for 4 years now, Tim, and I remember back at the very first podcast I ever did for a trucking fleet, one of the main things that was on our table was how much the drivers dislike the inward-facing cameras. Well, fast forward 4 years, I barely hear anything about those anymore because I think the drivers kind of understand how they protect them from, all these crazy nuclear verdicts and cops that think they see something that maybe they don't. So, new tech, it's a little bit of a bumpy road, but for sure it does help out, and it creates these opportunities like we're talking about. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, pneumatics wasn't the best choice for a new driver, but there's definitely opportunity for success now.
Absolutely. And we do a great job of recruiting entry-level drivers and putting them through the training program. And like I said, I think our success with it is definitely noticed.
And shout out to all those trainers, too, that you mentioned. Driver trainers are such a big part of having a good fleet, having a successful fleet. And the trainers do such a fantastic job with these new guys. And that's another episode we've got on our board. We want to get a bunch of trainers on here and talk to them about their philosophy. We will do it. And again, just remember, if you're listening to this right now and you're hearing all these great ideas we've got, we're still open for business and taking ideas. So head on over to podcast.bulktransit.com. Send me an email if you've got something that you want to hear on this podcast. Shawn, you talked about new business opportunities, and it made me wonder, what's different about what the customers are asking for now versus maybe a few years ago? Anything stand out? Are they asking for better communication, better safety protocol, specialized hauling service, anything like that kind of sticks out on what the customers are looking for here in 2026 as we move into the future?
Not really. As far as the basics, it pretty much all remains the same and really has throughout the years. There are some, there are some that want to integrate a little bit deeper with, their operations with ours. We've got some customers that we actually do in-plant work for, so we actually help them with their own production. So that's not unusual. Dealt with situations like that, over many years, but that's always a good thing because it deepens the relationship. I think the biggest thing as far as what the customer is looking for, and this very well may go to the type of business, the type of customer that Bryan really focuses on, is the partnerships. We don't like so much transactional as much as partnerships.
Yeah.
I'd much rather them feel like, they're going to, I'd much rather them feel like they're coming to Neiman Marcus and getting a true experience than just, going and shopping for something at Walmart.
Absolutely. And man, am I glad that they decided to use my name on a luxury brand and not Marcus Mart, right? I mean, I got so lucky there. I really did. Tim, back over to you now. And you already mentioned one thing. You said off the top that our accident numbers are down and you're really happy with that. I got kind of a two-parter here for you. Over the year, and you can say accident prevention again, but over the year here, the last year, what's something that drivers have gotten noticeably better at? And by comparison, what's something that we could still work on from your seat, Tim?
Awareness and awareness.
Both the same answer to the same or to different questions. I like it.
No, I think definitely awareness. On the driver's part, on our part, getting that awareness out. Safety training, it's all evolutionary. You just got to keep improving, every day, every month, every year, work on it.
Good stuff. I like it. The awareness is a constantly evolving aspect of what we do here at Bulk. And even though you're saying, hey, we're getting better at it, there's still room for improvement. We can get better every day. I like it, especially from your seat, man. That's somebody that's been a director of safety. He understands how to answer these questions, folks, just in case you were wondering.
You remember in the one podcast I said that complacency is the enemy of safety.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's something that every employee, at Bulk, everywhere should always remember that.
You'd like to have the drivers get that tattooed on the back of their eyelids, wouldn't you?
I'll tell you what, I'll give $5 to anybody that will put that tattoo on their arm.
Well, my wife's a tattoo artist, so swing on through Eugene. We'll get you guys a deal, okay? Great stuff there. Well, fellas, listen, before I let you get back to it, I know you're both busy. I want to say thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit of time with me today to celebrate the company's anniversary. Very important that we get you guys on the show every now and then and hear from you, and you're always willing to jump in here, so I greatly appreciate that. But for our final thoughts segment today of this bit, let's go ahead and just hear from you guys. A message to the company as we celebrate the anniversary here. The floor is totally yours. Say anything you want to. Take as long as you need. But Shawn Stevens, Director of Operations, we'll go ahead and start with you. Final thoughts for us here as we celebrate the company anniversary.
Honestly, just thanks to the DeWolf family for providing a home.
And a home that you're pretty proud of. I can tell. I always notice the passion and the care that comes through in your voice, Shawn, when we're doing these. And I can't thank you enough for having that brutal honesty here on the show, because it really does make the show better. And I know the drivers love to hear from you, my friend.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Shawn. We appreciate the time as always. Tim, final thoughts from you today on the company anniversary special. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, just like said, Bryan, Andrea, Brad, great people. So I've been in this industry almost 30 years. I've been here at Bulk a little over 10. Sure wish I would have started here 30 years ago. Great place. Communication's great. Encourage communication with drivers. Just remember, don't sit there in the seat and get all steamed about something. Talk to somebody.
There you go. Hey, if you'd have started here 30 years ago, Tim, Brad might have put a wrench in your hand. You never know. This whole thing could look totally different for you.
I'm like Brian. Me and him both. We don't turn wrenches. We do everything else. But we're not good at turning wrenches.
Got it. Well, shout out to the shop for being good at it, because without them, we wouldn't have what we got. And that's one thing I don't want to get through this company anniversary special before we shout those guys out as well. And, you'll hear from Brad on today's episode. So, Tim, Shawn, thank you guys so much. Happy anniversary to Bulk. And we greatly appreciate the time. You guys take care. We'll get you back in here soon, okay?
All right.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks. Everybody be safe.
All right, welcome back in here to Always Pneumatic, Never Static. It, of course, is our company anniversary special, and we've got some very special people here to talk about it today. And I wanted to kind of set this up by saying, in the first half of the episode, we talked to Tim and Shawn. We got a good idea of where Bulk is today and how they're feeling about it. But for this second half, I want to zoom out just a little bit, because every trucking company has trucks and trailers, customers, and freight. But every family company also has a story, and nobody knows the story better than the three people sitting right in front of me here today. So let's go ahead and welcome them in. First off, we'll welcome Brad DeWolf to the show. Brad, thanks for being here today.
Welcome, Marcus. How you doing?
Hey, doing great over here on the West Coast. Really excited to have you guys back again. Also joining us today, we got Bryan DeWolf here. Bryan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Marcus. Good to see you.
Of course, great to see you as well. And always, last but not least here by any means, we've got Andrea McClung joining us as well. Andrea, thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Marcus. Happy to be here.
Well, since you all said that, you're all happy to be here, I want to say before we even get started here, a big thank you to the three of you from the podcast, myself, the host, and everybody involved. I think this is the third time we've had the three of you on the show already, and we're only, 25, 30 episodes in here. That type of access is not something that we typically get to people running a company the size of the ones that you guys, or the size of the one that you guys are all running. So from the very bottom of my heart and everybody's heart involved in the podcast, we just want to tell you all thank you for being so gracious with your time. We know you're busy, but we think one of the things that makes this podcast so awesome is the access that you three give us. So to all of you, we really greatly appreciate the time here today.
Thanks.
No problem. Appreciate it.
I'm loving the podcast, so it's awesome.
Thank you. We're having so much fun, and I want to start off here with the question to all three of you that I think maybe will just kind of bring things into perspective for us a little bit here. Before there were titles, before there were meetings, before everything got to where it is today, I want to ask you guys individually, what's your very earliest memory of Bulk as a company? Bryan, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm not so sure I didn't talk about it, but my earliest memory is Dad having me go out in the yard and try to find flat tires. It was like a treasure hunt, because he'd give me, I don't know, back then, I think he gave me a dime or a quarter, which, back in the late, 70, early 80s, whatever, was a decent, was okay. That gets you a candy bar and a pop probably. But no, that's my earliest memory is just going out in the yard and trying to find flat tires.
I love it.
There was always a story that he would take me in on Sundays when I was young, even younger than that though, and I'd play around in the tires and get all dirty and make a ton of whatever. And because Sunday was his tire day. So like when he had, I don't know how many trucks in he was running, maybe half a dozen or whatever, or 10, and had, maybe he had another 10, 10 trailers, whatever. But he'd go in on Sundays to do all his tire work. And back then there were tube tires. So you'd have to break them down with a sledgehammer and take the rings off and then break them apart and get the tubes out of them, either patch the tube or, and put a new tube in, or whatever it was, whatever it needed. But he did all his tire work on Sunday, and he'd take me in, he'd drink beer, I'd play around on the tires. So, but I don't really remember that. That was pretty young. But I do remember, and I was probably, I guess I would probably have been, 10, 11 years old whenever we, whenever he took me in and had me go out and look for flats. So
yeah, when you were first earning a wage is the way to look at that, right?
I was an independent contractor, Marcus.
I like it.
Thankfully, he didn't get 1099 me or anything.
Well, and I do think that you had talked about that in maybe one of the earlier episodes that we had on, but that's okay. If we're doing a little refresh here, I'm totally okay with it because I'm just kind of using this to set the stage today. But fantastic stuff there, Brian. Andrea, I'm going to come to you next. Earliest memory of the company that you can think of.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you my earliest memory is terrifying. So I'm going to give you a terrifying memory, and I'm going to give you a fun memory. So my first memory, I remember being out at the old main terminal, which was on Wilson Road in Columbus, Ohio. And I remember we'd gone outside. I was with Dad. My mom was with us. I remember that. We're walking around outside, or I must have gotten distracted. They all went inside the building, and I was in like these tall weeds, and I'm like can barely see over the weeds because I'm that short. So I had to have been very young. And I remember like feeling like I'd been abandoned outside in these weeds, and my family had disappeared.
A little bit of a Children of the Corn moment there, huh?
Yes, exactly like that. It was.
Damn
it, was
it, you found your way back somehow or another.
I remember my panic. Of course, I was very attached to my mom, so you can understand my panic. And my favorite memory of when I was really young is when the mechanics made us our very own go-kart.
Oh, and wow.
They took I think it was like a lawnmower engine and one of those old-fashioned kitchen chairs that had like the tall back on it, and they flipped it upside down. And basically, we had our own little go-kart, and when Brian was mowing the grass, or Brad for that matter, we would be running that go-kart up and down Memorial Drive here at the current location. So tons of fun.
That's amazing. What a fun memory. Nothing better than a go-kart when you're a kid. Somebody hands you the keys to one of those things. It's all over. I love it. That's awesome. Brad, coming to you next. Best or favorite memory that you can remember, or earliest memory, either one.
Well, Marcus, I had a kind of a storied past, so memory's not my greatest thing. But, I have vague memories of Wilson Road and that terminal over there, and doing a little bit of tire work, like Brian said, but not much there. Most of my memories are at this location, so it means I was at least 7. And I don't know exactly how old I was, but I definitely remember mowing the grass here. I definitely remember washing latex trailers on weekends. And I definitely remember scraping the inside of latex trailers with a razor blade. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta, I kind of had a similar thing with my dad. It sounds like you guys had with your dad. There were certain labor jobs that he would put you on that kind of felt like maybe this is just a job that he didn't want to do. And
I almost feel like it's the only job you had to use family. Otherwise, it'd be against the law.
There you go. And what was it like scraping latex off the insides of those trailers with the razor blade? I imagine that took quite a bit of time.
Oh, it took forever. And, latex, everyone knows what the consistency of latex is. So, and it was just like that. It would peel off a little thin layer and the width of a razor blade. And it's a 5,500-gallon tank. So.
Wow.
It took time.
I hear you. I always go back to it, and I know he's going to be listening, so my dad's going to love that I'm mentioning this, but I was the lawnmower as a kid, and I'll never forget the day I graduated and went to college, my dad bought a riding lawnmower. And I thought, and I figured probably the day that you were no longer the latex scraping guy, he probably had a really good fix for that wasn't named Brad, didn't he?
Yeah, we started dropping them in at the local tank wash in Columbus, making them all the time. I don't know. Yeah, honestly, it was one of them jobs that nobody wanted to do. So
I hear you. I hear you. That's great. Well, what a great little just flashback into the past there that we got to have from you guys. I appreciate you bringing that to the table. We'll talk a little bit more kind of big picture here. Bryan, I'll start with you and we'll kind of roundtable this question, but how have things changed? How's your relationship changed from growing up together to running a company? Lots of responsibility, I imagine, but the way that you guys get along between the three of you and work together to make this whole thing happen, how has that changed or evolved in the years since it started, Bryan?
Surprisingly, I would say not a whole lot. I don't think our relationships changed a whole lot at all. When we're together outside of work, if we're with family, with mom, going to dinner, we don't talk about work. Very rarely. I'm not saying ever, but we're focused on, our families, with the kids. Like when we had the kids, when the kids were younger and we could all get together, we would focus on that and, and visit with the kids. And, our relationship hasn't really changed. I think we bring our personal lives probably more to work than we do our work into our personal lives.
Okay.
So, we can catch up obviously a lot during the day, if we, just to touch base, but surprisingly, there's some days that, we'll go days without really even talking to each other too, because we all kind of work in different, our own little silos to some extent. I mean, there's some crossover, but so I wouldn't say it's changed a whole lot. I mean, you can ask Brad and Andrea, but that's my opinion.
Andrea, you have any thoughts?
I agree. I don't think it's changed a lot. I just know my stress level has definitely increased since we're now, owning and operating the business without Dad. So, obviously it's a lot. It's a lot, and I want to do his legacy proud, right? So, and I think for me, I definitely feel that difference. I'm not a huge risk taker, and so finding myself, in this role, I definitely feel how big it is, to own and operate a business and feel responsible for it and its success and whatnot. But other than that, our relationships, I don't think have changed at all. Honestly, I think Bryan's exactly right. We don't tend to take work home. I try really hard not to. And so that allows us to kind of separate the two. So it's worked out pretty well for us.
That compartmentalization is so important. Being a guy that works from home, do you have any advice for me on how not to take work home, Andrea? I have not cracked that nut yet.
Yeah, you'd probably have to get a desk job.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't have that in me. I'll be honest with you. You guys have met me. I move around too much for that. But Brad, I'll go to you with that same question. How's the relationship changed or evolved in your eyes?
Yeah, I don't know that I agree. I don't think the relationship's changed a whole lot. It's, obviously the dynamic of some of our conversations are dictated by what we do, but for the most part, we stay in our lanes for the most part, and trust each other to get the job done. So, yeah. And outside of work, you can't, I know you work from home, so obviously that's a different dynamic. I sure hope that you separate some time for family and some time for actual sitting there and working. But when you leave here, you gotta de-stress some and just concentrate on what's most important.
I do take frequent 10-minute breaks to go down and pat my two corgis on the head every now and then, just to keep the day exciting. I never know what they're up to downstairs, so I got to go down there and check on it every now and then. But
get out and get about 6 kids. Keep you busy.
See, that's the thing is, I think the only reason this job works is because I don't have 6 kids downstairs that I have to take care of. But I love hearing about all the time that you guys spend together outside of work. We've talked about it before on this show. And the other thing that we hear all the time here on Always Pneumatic, Never Static from you guys, but also from a lot of the drivers, the employees that we talk to, is that they feel like this company is one big family and they feel like part of the family. They don't feel like a truck number. I know that that's something that you guys put a lot of effort into keeping it that way and making it feel that way. And I want to know, is there ever, or has there ever been anything in your tenure running the company that you've intentionally refused to change because you feel like it's part of the fabric of the company that Bulk is today? A little bit of a convoluted question there, Brian, but I'm going to start with you. It's kind of this no resting on our laurels moment. Anything like that in your tenure that you could kind of pinpoint for me, talk about a little bit here?
I don't know if there's anything that I would refuse to change other than Dad's office. Dad still has his office is set up just exactly like it was the last day he worked in it. So it maybe at some point we'll make that change, but other than that, right now, no, I'm not against change. If it's going to make us a better organization, yeah, if it's going to better Bulk or Spur Transit, I'm not against making any changes, really. When you're everybody, when you're working with, the teammates, the people you work with in your organization, hopefully everybody has the same goal in mind. That's to make Bulk and Spur the best company possible, whether it's the best company to work for, the best company that that's out there servicing customers in the bulk space. We want Bulk to be this. We want it to be the best. We want it to be the best. So to say you're going to refuse to change something, even though it would better the company, wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. And it wouldn't make sense to my father either. He would make the changes that need to be made. So not change is hard though. I mean, that's the thing. You don't, a lot of times it's easy to identify things that need to be changed, but changing them a lot of times a lot harder.
Sure. So I could maybe suffice it to say, based on what you just said there, Brian, that one thing that you're not refusing to change is that you're not ever going to be against change. That's always something true. That you're going to be willing to look at and willing to listen to reasoning and work it out. If it's the better thing for the company, we're going to change it. And that might be a little bit of speed bumps along the way, but that's okay, right?
Yeah. If the change is better for Bulk Transit, then that's what we, that's what we do. And, it's, sometimes there's things that may be a little better for profitability, but worse for customer service. I mean, I know a lot of companies, for dispatch is one of them. A lot of companies do a central dispatch. We don't do central dispatch. It probably would save us some people if we did, but I think we service our customers and take care of our drivers better when we got people on site at locations.
Sure.
So, that's one thing that we haven't changed, but I don't think it would be to the betterment of Bulk's. I know it wouldn't be to the betterment of Bulk's service to its customers, and I don't think it also would be better for the drivers either. So, so we like the personal touch instead of, the drivers never seeing. There's some companies, I don't know the drivers really ever see their dispatchers face to face, like in person. They may FaceTime or something, but I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Andrea, and I do want to call myself out here a little bit because probably bad phrasing in the question, to be honest with you, Brad, and Brian, I'm sorry. I think that I refuse to change is a bad way to put it because it makes it sound like you're standing in the face of something. Maybe I should have said something.
We've always done it, and damn it, we're not going to do it any other way.
Right. Maybe something that instead of refuse to change, something that you've decided to keep the same, or maybe a pulse that your dad started with the company that you've kept with it. And now that Brian was able to actually figure out that I had phrased this question terribly, Andrea, I'll put it to you, phrased in the way that it should be. Is there anything that you always want to keep about Bulk, something that maybe your dad started, maybe it's a mindset thing, maybe it's fabric of the company type thing, but something that you always want to see continue as a process or as just a mindset that the company has? I might have just made that phrasing even worse with that question, but I'm throwing it to you anyway because we're having a roundtable here, Andrea.
Yeah, I think I like the original question better.
Okay, yep, that's what I do. I have a tendency. I'm so okay with change that I'll change things for the worse and figure it out on the back end. But lot lower stakes here on the podcast than what you guys do from the day to day, right?
Yeah, one of the things that we've always been pretty set on is the fact that our office staff and workers, we want them to be in person. Obviously during COVID, a lot of people had to work from home for us to be able to get it done, and you lose so many efficiencies. Mm-hmm. And we're just not a remote environment. My mindset doesn't like it. I just, the collaboration that happens by, working with people, it's just so much better to have people in person. And I know, the world's kind of gone very much remote, and then people are trying to pull it back, and that's been a struggle. We've always been in person other than for a few weeks, a couple months maybe during COVID, but there's just so many good things that happen from being in person and working with other people in the organization. It's just so much better and way more efficient. So that's something that I'm not really willing to bend on. Obviously there's times that somebody's got to be working, because they're traveling to one of our other locations. That's a different situation. I'm talking about like when they're actually setting up their office at home or away from, one of our buildings. So I really like people to be in person.
I totally understand that. I don't think the remote work environment works for every industry. And, and there's an aspect of it where, hey, the drivers are kind of remote employees as it is, right? You're going to see them every now and then they're gone for who knows how long. It's always different. But I totally get that, Andrea, because one of the things that you lose as a remote environment is the ability to just pop over and stick your head in somebody's office and ask a quick question. That in and of itself turns into like a 15 or 20-minute meeting because you have to check schedules and you don't know if that person's, for me over here on the West Coast, almost everybody that I work with is on the East Coast or in the Midwest, and those time differences start to jump in. They've got kids, they're doing this, they're doing that. I totally understand it, and I think, too, having actually set foot in your guys' terminal there, I kind of see that is something that kind of is a pulse of the company. You guys have kind of an open-door policy. You're never really closed off from your employees. If they need to come and ask you a question, they can ask it. That's one thing you can't do with a remote job, Andrea. There's no question about it, and I think that you guys everybody, I saw a lot of smiling faces in there. I'll say that. And it wasn't just when Brad brought us all barbecue for when we were talking to the shop guys. Everybody was smiling the whole day over. That tells me it's a good in-person environment. And that type of thing is, I feel like, really second to none when you're looking for a job. You don't want to go to a place and hate it every single day. Doesn't seem like that's what's going on over there.
Right. Exactly.
Brad, how about for you? We've butchered this question 6 ways from Sunday, and now it's your turn to answer it.
You just took my answer. You took my answer. That's the one thing
I did?
I refuse to change is to limit my access to the people. I actually limit my access to salesmen way more than I do my employees. Okay?
Okay.
Like way more.
And is there any philosophy behind that you'd like to share with us?
Well, no, but that's how. You can't have a family feeling if they can't never talk to me. If the employees can't walk in and talk to me, then they probably don't feel like it's much of a family business, So
yeah.
Although I don't have time to sit here and talk to every employee every time they come in here, but you just I don't know. There's a point where sometimes you want to limit your access, but it's just something you can't do.
Well, it's phenomenal that you guys have that level of access for the employees, because they definitely feel it. I mean, they've told me here on the show, I've had drivers say, if I have a problem, I can call Brian and I can talk to Brian, or I could call Brad, talk to Brad, Andrea, talk to Andrea. I don't have to go through a phone tree. I don't have to fight my way through multiple levels of management. You guys are accessible, and that's one of the things that keeps the family-run company feeling here, regardless of how much the company grows. And now kind of zooming out even just a little bit more, I'm going to ask you a really broad question here, and it can be really anything. Brian, we'll go back to you. As you look down on all this, you look at everything that you've done and where you're at today, what makes you the proudest about Bulk and Spur?
I mean, I think just the fact that we've been able to, keep the lights. I mean, really, it's about not failing. I mean, I don't know. It seems weird, but you just want to be able to continue on, like Andrea had mentioned before. We want to continue Dad's legacy, and just being able to do that, and we're doing it now for we took over in 2016, so we've been doing it now for 10 years, and I think that's just the best part of it, and just being able to continue on, really. We want to always grow and do those things, but biggest isn't always the best. So I think we've done a great job with just keeping Dad's legacy. I think he would be proud of the way we service our customers, how we treat our employee, how we treat our, the people we work with. And so, I think that's the biggest thing is, he probably wouldn't say he's proud of us because he didn't give out a lot of compliments, but I think he would be. I think it'd be something that he'd be proud of. Yeah.
I think you're right. Did those 10 years, have they just gone by in an absolute flash, Brian?
Yeah, it's insane. It really is.
10 years, it's a long time to be doing the one thing. And it's funny how as you move through life, they say that the days seem like they go faster because you have more memories and less time in front of you. I would say that's probably how these last 10 years feel, just like an absolute flash. But here we are, and things are going well. And I think you're 100% correct. I think Dad would be proud, even if he's not big on, dealing out the credit. I think he'd look down and be very proud at what you guys have done at this point in time. Andrea, something that you look at for Bulk and Spur that just makes you proud over these last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of add on to what Brian was saying. I really think it's 100% about the relationships, and that we've been able to continue those relationships, and that Dad started. So that goes from our our relationships with our customers, our vendors, most importantly our employees. I just think we've really been able to continue those relationships that made both Bulk and Spur successful, and I think it's been a blessing. And a lot of that I attribute to Dad. We got to work alongside him for so long and kind of watch how he did it, and learned a lot from that. And I just think it's awesome that we were able to continue those relationships.
Well said. Brad, on to you. Something that makes you proud since you've been running the company.
Just obviously piggybacking on that, it's anytime you can have your original customer and you still service your original customer, the fact that you're still in business 50 years later and they're still in business, although they've been bought out several times over the years, but they're still in business for that long, it's pretty impressive, and we have a lot of just proud of, we had a lot of people that spent a lot of their time, a lot of their lives working for us, and giving us all their time, valuable time, and all the time that the employees have put in. You're just proud that we're still here and trying to give back.
Well said there as well. Thanks for that, Brad.
One more thing there, like the job.
Yes.
One more thing. I think just an extension of that. The cool thing is the people that work for my dad are now and then continue to work for us, and to see those guys and gals retire is pretty cool. now, because we're up, it feels like we're having, we're getting like 4 or 5 retirements a year, it feels like now. And so that's pretty neat. We've had mechanics that work for us for 30 plus years, work for Bulk Transit 30 plus years, retire, drivers, of course. And we've had some management staff retire as well that all worked and knew my dad and worked for him and continue to work for us. And, when we took over. And so to see them be able to retire and is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Tim and Shawn mentioned that too. And that is a really cool thing, especially if they've got that 20, 30, maybe even 40-year tenure with your company. How cool to see them, step off into their golden years and get to enjoy that retirement. I think that's so cool. I've got one more question for you that I want to roundtable, and then I want to clear some time for you guys to share your thoughts. Anything that we left on the table, we'll definitely get to it because this is a very special episode, and we can't go leaving things on the table. But we talk about the access that you guys give to employees, and obviously it's there. We hear it all the time on this podcast. Now, one thing that you probably can't do because there's not enough time in the week is sit down individually with every single driver that wears the Bulk or Spur logo as they do their job. So what I want to give you the opportunity to do here is kind of just snowball that all together. Tell me, Brian, if you could sit down with every Bulk driver individually, what's one thing that you would want them to hear directly from you?
Just that I appreciate them so much, just that I just appreciate them. I appreciate the job they do. It's not an easy job. It's certainly, it's in some ways a dangerous job. I mean, you're out on the road, and I appreciate the professionalism and that they conduct themselves with, and it's not easy to do. I mean, I get an opportunity to sit down with the newer drivers that we bring in. We do try to do a meet and greet, and I tell them that I get to tell them that I do appreciate the job they do and how hard it can be at times, and there's I question sometimes whether I could even do it. My patience just driving to work sometimes is tested quite often. So and so, yeah, it's I just the appreciation I have for the driver. Well, for everybody though, the drivers obviously are our maintenance staff's second to none. I mean, they're just terrific. I mean, they're great, honestly. Our office staff and administration, we just all up and down the line. We have great people work for us. I just appreciate all that they do for us and do for the company. And I think everybody has a spirit of trying to work together and do their job in a professional manner and do it well. So everybody always seems to get on board with that, and we're just very fortunate and blessed to work with the people we do, for sure.
It shows. It really does show. Andrea, if you could sit down with every Bulk driver individually, what's one thing you'd want to hear? What's one thing you would want them to hear directly from you?
Yeah, I think I would want them to know that they matter to us. I mean, we view them, like we are always saying, we view them like family. And so, for me, safety is just so important. I want them to be safe and be able to safely get home to their families. And, I just want everybody to be safe and good, honestly. And we're a team, I mean, we need them, and, I think they need us a little bit at least. But, we need them, and they are the face of the company. And, we just want everybody to be good and well and healthy and safe and all the things, so that, that they can go home and, spend time with their families and provide for them and do all the things. So just let them know that we really are a team. We can't do this without any of them.
100%. Brad, I'm on to you, and I'm wondering if this might have something to do with pre-trips, if you got the chance to sit down with every single one of them individually or something like that. But I don't want to take the words out of your mouth again. So one thing you tell every driver.
You just did. You literally just did. I don't even know why. Not even sure why you have me on the podcast. You can just do it for me. I just tell all the drivers how important it is to check your lights and tires. Lights and tires. All we ask of them for the pre-trip, we'll take care of the rest. We really like lights and tires to be looked at.
I got it. Hey, functional but meaningful.
Yeah, I know, but no, I don't just. And I tell I end almost every conversation with have a safe trip or whatever, safe travels. I mean, there's just so much traffic out there. And, we're in the Midwest. We're a flyover state, so we don't even know what it's like in California, but I'm sure it's stupid. But, it's just like Brian said, I get frustrated trying to drive places. Coming back from Southern Kentucky on Sunday is always busy. And this last Sunday it seemed like a holiday weekend. It was worse than 4th of July. We came back late but anyways, it's busy out there. We appreciate the patience that they have every day, and just pray they all come back safe every day. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. And I think the drivers can really feel that from you guys, completely independent of the podcast, but they do tell me on here all the time. And I just think hearing you guys talk about it, it really goes to show how important the drivers are, and that extends to every employee, right? It takes a village to make this company go, and you got a great village going right now, that's for sure. Want to thank you guys all for your time here today. We wanted to keep this one a little short. We don't want to run super long, but I do want to clear some time here at the end of the segment for you guys to share anything that we might have left out or say anything that you haven't gotten to say. Of course, we're celebrating the company's anniversary here. So, Brian, I give you one last chance before we let you go, my friend. Anything else you want to say to the employees out there that are listening on our company anniversary special?
No, it's just, I think just to kind of piggyback a little bit more is when we go down and we try to make decisions that's, like I said, best for the company. And we always have, and part of that equation is always to have the people we work with in mind. We want the best for them. We really do. I wish there was infinite amount of money that we could pay them and but unfortunately there's budgets and we have to pay for stuff, so but we try to provide good equipment. We try to provide a good environment for everyone to work in, and we really take that into consideration every time we make a decision. Then just shifting gears, about the podcast, like I said, I'm loving the podcast, and all your guests that have come on. It's been great to get to know all the different people you've had on through the podcast. I love it. So that's been terrific. So I hope we get more and more people to listen. I think it's doing pretty well, but I'd love to have 100% of the staff listen to it, and just love to keep it going. So we need more guests, though. We got to get more variety, because I think there's a lot of cool stories out there that we have yet to hear, and it gives me, like I said, it gives me a chance to know the people that work for Bulk and Spur a little bit better than I would have ever been able to. So it's been cool.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate the kind words about the show, Brian, and I will tell you, even with all of the awesome personalities that we've discovered that work there at Bulk and Spur, I feel like we've barely scratched the surface. We've got a lot more people to meet and a lot more people to get on this show, and you know how to do it. If you're one of those people out there, you want to come on this show, podcast.bulktransit.com. It's that easy. Send me an email. We will get you on here. And thanks again, Brian. I really appreciate the kind sentiment there about the show. We're trying our best, and we've got a heck of a company to work with in Bulk and Transit. So I'll be honest with you, it makes my job pretty easy here I am doing the third, I think, podcast with the ownership team of the company. So you guys are playing ball, makes it easy on us. Andrea, final thoughts from you here. Anything left that you'd like to say before we let you go here on our company anniversary special?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, obviously super excited to be celebrating 54 years. That's awesome. Couldn't have done it without all of our employees, that's for sure. And then I want to give a special shout out to our driver trainers because, they are so responsible for, they really, without them, they train, they help us retain drivers. They are the first space, the first interaction that a lot of our new hires have. And, as we're trying to grow, without the trainers, we wouldn't be able to do it. And they are selfless. They are really selfless and they go above and beyond. And I just can't thank them enough for what they do to help grow this business. So really appreciative of the trainers that help us get drivers on the road.
54 years is a long time, and it's running strong. Very well said there, Andrea. Thank you for your time today. Brad, final thoughts from you on our company anniversary special. Anything left on the table that you want to get off your mind before we let you go?
Well, I don't have a whole lot. Me and the company are the same age, so I don't celebrate it with so much enthusiasm as some of the other ones do, Marcus. No, more of the same. Just a shout out to everybody. It's long hours. They're not regular hours either. It's not even like it's a 7 to 9 or 7 to 8 p.m. every day. We got the 4 a.m. people. We got the 10 p.m. people out there working. So the trucks are always rolling. So just shout out to everybody for all the long hours, long days, and not regular hours and weird circumstances and spur of the moment decisions that we have to make and actions that we have to take. So there you go.
Thank you. And just a reminder, check your lights, check your tires, right? Those were the two of the...
That goes into everything. Safety, that does all. Your lights and tires are good. We're ready to roll.
All right. I love it. Brian, Andrea, Brad, thank you all so much for the time today. From all of us here at Always Pneumatic, Never Static, happy 54th company anniversary to Bulk and Spur. It's been awesome having you guys on again, and thank you so much once more for all the access that you give us. This has been a really fun episode, really cool episode. Thank you all for the time today.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you.
Great stuff there. First and foremost, want to thank Tim and Shawn for their time. Awesome stuff from them. And then you heard me fall all over myself thanking Brian, Brad, and Andrea. And I'll do it again. I'll tell you, I talked a little bit towards the end of that last segment about how the access that I get at Bulk is one of the things that makes my job easy. And I do really appreciate it. One of the things that makes my job hard is when we do such a good job with the episode. And I say we, and I put myself in the very, very minor segment of the greater we there. The we that brought you this awesome episode today was Tim, Shawn, Brian, Brad, and Andrea. And what makes my job hard is when we've already said all the things that needed to be said on today's 54th anniversary special. There's not a lot for me to do here in the outro. I mean, you listened to the episode, you made it this far. What else can I say? I mean, again, I'll blow the party horns for a third time today. I'll give the round of applause for a third time today. It's 54 years of a successful trucking company, and not only that, but a very specific type of freight that we're hauling, okay? 54 years should be celebrated, and it should be talked about, and it should be I guess, looked upon favorably, if you will. And hey, I think we did that today. I think we did a good job. I didn't do anything. I think the people that came to this episode today gave us a peek behind the curtain of why the drivers that come on this show talk about how much they love working for this company, and beyond that as well. You know, we haven't had a lot of shop techs on. We've done one episode with them, but they like their gig here. We've talked to a lot of terminal staff, various terminal staff across a lot of the terminals, and you get the same impression from them as well. So that's it. There's not really a lot for me to say in this outro other than happy anniversary, Bulk and Spur. And again, not only thank you to Brad, Brian, and Andrea for allowing us to do this podcast, but thank you to everybody in the company that's taken part or even listened. Maybe you've never had your name even mentioned on this podcast and you're totally fine with that, but you click it every single week and you listen in. You are just as important to us as the people that come on the show. We thank you all. We have so much fun working for this amazing company, and we can't wait to pump out more content for you. Every single week, 5 a.m. local time, you get a new hour. So stay tuned here to Always Pneumatic, Never Static. Don't forget to check out the website, podcast.bulktransit.com. And once again, tell a friend. Happy anniversary, Bulk. 54 years strong. Here's to 54 more. We'll see you all next week.
And that's all she blows for today's episode of Always Pneumatic, Never Static, your number one and probably only pneumatic trucking podcast, brought to you by Bulk Transit. Thanks for rolling with us today. Till next time, stay safe, keep those lines clear, and keep it pumping.